Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another instalment of the Hits Review. This is the series where we take a chronological look at the main rival to now that's what I call music, at least the main rival in the 1980s and early 90s. And as such, we've reached our 8th episode, which means our next album is this one, which is the Hits album, Volume 8.
Here's the very latest, Hits 8, with the #1 hit from S Express and the #1 from Aswad.
So, in terms of cover design, if you remember, Hit 7 went for a very obvious choice with the number 7. This is back to the bizarreness of of Hits 4, Hit 6, just weird, colours, shapes. I guess it's meant to represent an 8, but I'm all not too sure. Anyway, hot hits of summer 88. So we've got Whitney Houston, the Pasadenas, Sade, Eighth Wonder, Fairground Attraction, Erasure, Tiffany, Terence Trent D'Arby, Aswad, Fleetwood Mac, Bros, and Aztec Camera, but to name a few. So a pretty stellar lineup when you look at it like that. So this is various artists, of course, and I'll plonk this here. 33 tracks, bit of an odd number to round off on, 33. A lot of the albums of the day were doing 30, 32. This one's got 33. So, side 1, kicking off with Aha, Stay on These Roads. I'm Not Scared by Eighth Wonder, great song, written, I believe, by the Pet Shop Boys, and they did their own version. MJ and the Jackson 5, which is just a remix of I Want You Back, still pretty good. Bros, I Owe You Nothing, which was their #1 hit, of course. I Saw Him Standing There, Beatles cover by Tiffany. Tell It to My Heart by Taylor Dayne, great song. She was the first sort of artist that was the feature of my radio show, our little theme that we've got going on. Voyage, Voyage, great song. Was this on Hit 7? I'm pretty sure this was on Hit 7. I just vaguely remember talking about it. Anyway, this was a French hit, did very well over here. Tribute, Ride On, this is the Pasadena's tribute to Motown, which is really good. Some more great hits here. Car Wash by Rose Royce, goodness. I Will Save the Day. Luther Vandross to finish off side 2. Alright, let's kick it on over to side 3. So Aztec Camera kicked that one off. You've got Fairground Attraction with Perfect, great song. Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. I Found Someone by Cher. Sign Your Name by Terence, and The Lovers by Alexander O'Neill. And side 4, you've placed A Chill in My Heart by Eurythmics, fabulous song. The theme from S Express, this was everywhere. I think this was a #1 hit, but it was honestly at the time everywhere. Chains of Love by Erasure, and finishing off with the Jesus and Mary chain with Side Walking. Nice little selection there, 33 tracks. So, like all these albums of the day, both hits, and now this is a gatefold sleeve, which means we're going to open it on up. So, for anyone who's not familiar, it's slightly different this time of the layout, but they give you little information about the artist, about the album it came from, about the songs. So for Aha, one of pop's most successful international groups back in the driving seat with a sellout nationwide tour, a new album, and this top 5 single taken from the album cassette CD, Stay on These Roads. So that's the basic premise for all of these here. As you just sort of scan on down, it gives you all information about the albums, about the artists themselves, just all the crucial information you'd actually want to know. So if you were, say, tempted to buy these albums that they come from, you'd be able to do so. Now, the first 7 hits would advertise the previous 6 albums. This one only advertises hits 6 and 7, which were from 1987. This obviously came out in 88. This logo is really strange. I'm not sure why they do that, but the hit 6 album, tape and CD. Also the hit 7 album, tape and CD. The last 2 collections of the Famous Hits series are still available on LP, cassette and CD. So maybe by 1988 had they discontinued the first 5 volumes? Like, obviously you could still get them secondhand, but they stopped making new copies? I wonder what the answer is. Of course, now they're starting to appear on CD, as CDs were starting to come in at the time, but I'd say vinyl at this point and cassette were still the most dominant formats. And now, very quickly, I'm going to take out one of the discs and show you what it looks like. Okie doke, so here is the Hits album, volume 8 on vinyl, and as you can see the logo's here, but the colours are all in a red theme. Could they not afford the colour printing of all the separate colours? I'm not too sure, but that's side 1, and as you'd expect, side 2 is exactly the same. Pretty standard by this point. So what is there to say about Hits volume 8? Well, the tracklist is pretty superb. It rivals Hit 6 as my favourite tracklist. I think Hit 6 slightly tops it for me, but it is a stellar tracklist nonetheless. I'll talk more about whether you should pick this up in a minute, because of course, like some of the others, if you didn't want it on vinyl or if you want some variety, you can get it on cassette. So here is the Hits tape, Hits album being the vinyl, and this is the tape. It's still the same logo, which I'm convinced is meant to be an 8, but it's just in a weird abstract format. And obviously you've got the same list of artists there, and there's your Spine the Hits tape volume 8. And all the tracks are on the back. They're back to this fat box style format, if you remember the last few. So Hits 5, Hits 6, Hits 7, they were all in individual tape size cases across 2 of them. This is back to the fat box style, so if we open it up, if I can, yeah. So it's stacked, the 2 tapes are stacked like this. I've never liked tapes being stacked like this, but you know, that was what it was back in the day. And the Hits tape 8 is there, and the logo is featured. And I do honestly like the logos on the tapes themselves. I think they are quite cool when you get down to it. But yeah, I mean, that's a standard tape for you. But yeah, I really don't like them stacked like that. I don't know what it is, it just annoys me a bit. So yeah, I got that in a job lot of tapes, but obviously if you're interested, tapes are going for pretty cheap nowadays. I know they're coming back slightly, but for the tape I wouldn't pay any more than £2, and for the vinyl album I wouldn't pay any more than £5 for it. I paid about £3 or £4 for it earlier this year, and whether you should pick it up, I mean, it's like with all these compilation albums, if you like these songs specifically from the summer of 1988, you know, you really like the style, you like the artist, you like most of the music, then yeah, it's worth picking up the Hits album 8 if you're a vinyl collector, or if you want it on tape, or if you really want it on CD, you can go and do it. However, if you have some of the other Hits albums or other like Now albums from 1988 that you prefer the track list on, then don't bother getting this just for the sake of it, unless you're like a die-hard collector. But it's still a neat album nonetheless, probably now second favourite track list for me, just behind Hits number 6. Superb stuff. And that is all for this instalment of the Hits review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below. Leave your comments down below as well. Let me know if you own the Hits album volume 8 in some format or another. Subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. And until the next one, I will see you guys next time.
Hits 8 with more number 1s from Fairground Attraction and Brass. Hits 8, it's great!